Going around, and that you can see Yuande is just on the back of her sister's leg right now. So I will ask those folks who are up against the glass right now to take a step back and maybe take a seat, just so that the rest of the people in the sitting down already are able to catch a glimpse of our beautiful gorillas having a snack right now. So this is scatter feeding. This is where Les, or one of our keepers, will come in. They'll toss food in all over the place. That simulates the wild, just like, the food is completely scattered all over. But take a look, just on his way over here right now. Yes, very impressive. That's Kakinga. He's our male silverback. So part of the reason why we scatter feed is also because if we just threw the food in as one big pile, guess who would make his way on over and be very greedy and eat it all and gorge himself? That would be Kakinga. He would eat all the food and just sit down right in front of it. So that's partially the advantage of scatter feeding. It's not just to simulate the wild. It's also so that everyone gets a share, especially of cherries. Because often when I'm doing a talk like this, if one of our keepers is very convenient and they come on in and do a little scatter feeding, it's often things like broccoli, maybe green pepper, different fruits and vegetables. But cherries, those would be donations from potentially a co-op or maybe Sobeys or Superstore, or one of those stores out there that maybe has some extra produce that they want to donate to us. So it is very much a treat for them to have cherries here. So this is a perfect opportunity. Take a look at Yuande. Look at her derriere. Look at her rear end really quick as she's disappearing beyond that log. Take a look. There's a little white spot. See that white spot just through there? That's her milk spot. Essentially, that's the gorilla training badge. That's to let all the other gorillas know that I'm still learning. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and hopefully you can be a little more lenient on me. That's why she can walk up to Dad over here with his lip out right now, give him a little smack in the face, maybe steal his cherries, and then run away and get away with it. In about a couple of years from now, around 3-4 years old, that little white spot's going to slowly disappear, and rules are going to kick in. It might be a little bit of a harsh reality initially, but she's not going to get away with that, and he is going to reprimand her for sure if she's trying to steal his food. Now, for Yuande, because she does have that little training badge, as I said, she's doing a lot of gorilla school. But don't worry, it's not too bad. The final exam is pretty easy. So, in gorilla school, what's one of the first things you do, maybe when you walk in? You take attendance, right? So let me quickly reintroduce you to all 4 of our gorillas that you see right here. Of course, the big, large one, that's Kakinga. Right above here on the log, that's Barika and Yuande, both daughters of his. They're half-sisters because they don't share the same dad, or don't share the same mom. Underneath is Zuri. That's the mother of the baby right now. So we do have 4 inside here. We also have 4 other gorillas indoors, if you notice them too. They actually just freshly arrived. They're our Bronx 4, and they've only been in that enclosure for about a week now. So I'll talk a little bit about them further in a moment. But I want to give a little bit of individual attention to all 4 of our gorillas. You notice, of course, the 2 sisters, extremely cute together. They spend most of their time, when you maybe just first arrived, they were curled up in that little black bin, sleeping, giving affection to one another. Also, as you know, they go forage together. They're the ones who are having fun. They're quite closely bonded. That's partially because Zuri, well, she didn't have quite the appropriate upbringing for a gorilla. I'll touch on that in a second. But Barika's almost taken over as the mother. She's almost doing sort of sharing the motherly duties. So she's the one that carries Yuande around, as you saw when they went for a little bit of foraging. When we have to feed Yuande, because she's actually bottle fed, we can't, of course, the keepers can't go inside the enclosure because Kakinga, well, he's very protective. So he would do a lot of damage to us if they jumped in. So instead they have to bribe one of our gorillas, or possibly more than one of them, to bring Yuande to them inside, or possibly just up to that orange little fencing. So Barika is right here. She caught onto it pretty quickly. She thought, okay, I'm going to slap on Yuande in my leg, take her on over to the fence, and I'm going to get a little bit of a reward. So initially they gave the bottle to Yuande, gave the treats to maybe the other gorillas, the fruits and vegetables, possibly to Barika. Well, that went well initially, except Barika, when she finishes those fruits and vegetables, she wants to share that bottle. And Yuande doesn't have much of a choice when Big Sister wants that bottle. So now, to keep our keepers extremely busy, with one hand they bottle feed Yuande, with the other hand they spoon feed the gorillas yogurt. So they're a little bit spoiled, and one of the spectacular moments that happened just a couple weeks ago is Kakinga actually was feeding at that fence, and he allowed Yuwande to come right up beside him and feed at the same time, which is huge because usually when he's feeding, he wants it all to himself. He smacks everyone else out of the way. One of my favorite times when they are feeding is one of the sort of little tricks that the keepers will do. When the gorillas are out of the enclosure, they'll come in and do a big swipe of peanut butter all across the... Oh, and he's doing a little bit of a display right now, a little bit of a hit on the chest. So they'll do a big swipe of peanut butter over on the glass over there. So who do you think's the first gorilla to make it their way on over to that peanut butter? Munchkin? Sorry? Kakinga! Well, you know, Kakinga, he's kind of slow. He's a little bit lazy. It's actually the girls that go out first, and they go pretty quickly if they know there's peanut butter there. They'll run on over, and then with one finger, fairly daintily, they'll start taking swipes of peanut butter, taking it off their finger, licking it. But while they're doing that, they're looking over their shoulders like this. Because you know who they're watching for. They're watching for Kakinga. Because eventually, when he feels like it, he's going to make his way on over, and then